Pear Declined, May 8th, 2017. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Each syllable of sound and taste, a bite of the hard pear, of juice and of sweetness. I take from my mouth a piece and offer to the dog, who demurs, the wisdom of the breed, mysterious as I return it to my mouth. Spring Cold, May 8th, 2017. I sit before the computer screen, while beyond, through the window, I see the nascent leaves and signs of reawakening. But I, with running nose and companion cough, feel the toll of time past and a sense of vulnerability. Leaders' Tattoos, May 9th, 2017. If heads of state could submit to the ink, Angela Merkel might have EEU stars on her ankle. Donald Trump, America First, on his neck. On state visits, hers, close to his, while they worked out the big picture. Cruise playset. The box, the packaging are perfect. A miniature cruise ship, tandem luggage tractor, the sign, the umbrella table, and the bus for excursions to see and record the photos of the sites as proof that we were there. Also, suitable for ages 4 and up. Duct Cleaning, November 4th, 2017. Picking up the phone and following a pause and a click, I exchange greetings with a person of South Asian accent who moves to the topic of duct cleaning, and I, without ducts and puzzled by the economics of the enterprise, spanning 2 continents, hang up. The birthday, September 26, 2017. It's a birthday party. The recipient, age unrevealed, separated and vulnerable, greets guests mid-50s and beyond, all dancers. Cards and gifts are offered, and shoes are changed for the waltz, swing, and the tango. Everyone thinks, but no one asks, where's the cake? At the Legion, November 14, 2017. I sit between my wife and a woman who includes LOL in her texts. She leans forward, her top casually off one shoulder to reveal a bra strap, pink and snug against her smooth and luminous skin. At the library, April 2018. I sit in the library by the windows, reading about travel to Spain or what Max Planck uncovered, while nearby 2 school crossing guards, not long from Afghanistan, await their next shift. One snoring softly, while the other, with a hair clip, looks unwaveringly at Vanity Fair. Wedding reception, April 2018. The bride, beautiful and triumphant, delivers a speech prepared without benefit of editing, thanks her in-laws for raising the love of her life, and so on. While the tables await the errant salad course, the groom, also grateful for the raising of his partner, declares one big party since their meeting. The master of ceremonies implores, yet again, all present to give it up, but the pasta course has arrived, perhaps to move things along. Golf, May 2018. I wait on the tee, my ball tagged with lemniscate, the symbol of infinity, perched and ready to go, while the foursome ahead, in 2 carts, proceed forward, then back, selecting and deliberating, I know not what, and then hit the ball, 40 yards forward, or into the trees, and begin again. I inhale deeply the fresh air and wait the instant when I too send one a finite distance into the rough. Tripping hazard, May 2018. I cross the floor. Without shoes I step on a hard singularity. The dog's bone, but not a real bone, rather hard cheese from milk of a yak, not a specific yak, but perhaps a herd of yaks. Out there on the west coast, the owners sipping lattes in opposition to pipelines as I rub my foot. Spanish class, May 2018. We sit at round tables, mostly seniors with short-term time available, some with beautiful accents, some not, struggling with the verbs, in tenses of which we are oblivious in our mother tongue. Our maestro, brave soul, distributes texts from classic writers of Latin America, and we wait our turn to stumble through the linguistic tangle and on to an early dinner. CBC Radio, May 2018. David Willey covered the Eternal City, as did Megan, when Vatican chimneys spoke. Gerald Pratley was at the movies, at Carlo Vivari, not taking the waters. Max Ferguson introduced Ivan Rebrov, singing dogs and military marches. Clyde Gilmore had his own albums. Barbara Frum asked the tough questions of Harold Ballard, who blustered via an interlocutor named Dick. Katie Malick gave us all that jazz. And what Peter Zosky did survived until the fall of Gene in the Queue. Lister Sinclair told us all we could know, and more. And so we miss the old, because we are. Do It Yourself, May 2018. The ceiling pot light hangs below shamelessly, resisting all attempts to stay against the ceiling. I purchase a new one, a later generation from the factories of China, and begin the process, removing the old fixture and finding that dust and mouse debris falling on my upward gaze. I struggle and decide to get the ladder, which I remember is in the garage, and begin again, moving a floor-standing light, but it won't quite reach. The breaker, alas, is common for the whole area. Weighing darkness versus risk, I opt for the ladder and rely on the light switch. The new fixture has a junction box, the size of 2 hearts of palm. Good cast aluminum though. The black, white, and green wires, stiff number 14, barely fit into the wire connectors provided, but do and seem snug. I get the drill and the bit in place is too large. I find another and squeeze the trigger, the device barely turning due to low charge. Finally, 2 holes, 2 screws, one the head partly stripped, the little box fixed in place, the low voltage connectors mate nicely, and the spring-loaded LED assembly snaps tightly over the hole in the ceiling panel. I flip the switch and see light. News item, June 2018. Beaver butt used in bourbon, we were informed. The follow-up radio interview, fully tongue on cheek, was no rear ends or butts from the Castorium or elsewhere, the unstated conclusion as the host toyed with bum, but no ass, also no derriere, nor keister, nor gluteus maximus. Arachnology, June 2018. Attending a fine exhibit on spiders, an expert arachnologist explained feeding, caring, and display of tarantulas while revealing a wonderful cleavage and a black bra. Football, July 2018. It's Denmark versus Croatia in Nizhny Novgorod, mainly sen versus ich as the name suffix of choice. But how to explain a Braithwaite or a Delaney? No matter, it's Ivan Rakitic on the penalty shootout, and Croatia moves to the quarterfinals. Retirement, July 2018. Retirement is sleeping until 8:30, unloading the dishwasher, then a continental breakfast with special updates on text messages and emails received. Google News already checked. Duolingo Spanish follows, while the dog works the Kong for treats. Anna Maria fades into Tom as plans for dinner, golf, or dancing, and the grandson's visit emerge, all without PowerPoint or time charges. Scene on the Sidewalk, August 4th, 2018. Recently, while with my wife at a table at an outdoor terrace, eating what I thought was ham, Swiss, and bechamel, but turned out to be mushroom and undetermined cheese sandwich, I saw before me, on the sidewalk, a woman carrying a watermelon. Apple overload, August 9th, 2018. If Apple is worth $1 trillion and Toronto has 2 million residences, then the stock value could cover $500,000 per residence. Discuss. Summer Fair, August 30th, 2018. Free admission before 1. The crowd is here, with flip-flops and tattoos, and children exhausted in wheeled conveyances. Their parents carry on, fueled by deep-fried this or that. Among the tables of $10 bargains or Teflon sealer sets, quickly past the butter sculptures to the performing dog show, now unfortunately full to capacity. Next one in 3 hours. But the midway hawkers beckon, and the father, formerly from Pakistan, bounces the basketball, his family beside him, and readies his shot to the non-standard hoop. Nearby, a little girl jumps repeatedly up and down in joy, having won any stuffed animal of her choice. Language app, September 1st, 2018. Hello, you drink water. I also do not eat fish. I eat rice. How about you? Goodbye. Armed with these dystopian phrases, fresh from the language app, I approached the Mandarin speakers, wary of what kind of impression I will make, and promptly chicken out. Under the Trestle, September 18, 2018. We walk, the dog and I, under the Trestle Bridge, riveted and reminiscent of another age. The path bordered by grass harbors an invisible spot, detected by the canine nose, and confirmed with the scratch of a paw, invoking the inevitable rolling over it. No doubt to bring the odor home for further enjoyment. We press on, past late summer goldenrod, lining the riverbed, and the calm, untroubled, laminar flow of the water, and reach the car park where the car awaits. Dinner at Le Train Bleu, October 26, 2018. A former work friend invited us to dinner at Le Train Bleu under Art Nouveau splendor and grand style of the Belle Époque in the Gare de Lyon. Even the washrooms look out over the great trains, once steam, now TGV electric. Dinner underway with gigot d'agneau and gratin dauphinois. Served before us, my friend spoke at length, from excellent memory, of her personal history, her discourse including salient dates and events to which I listened attentively until I didn't, and began to contemplate sa poitrine. Dog Best Practice, November 27, 2018. Having a dog and a backyard entails some careful maintenance in the picking up of what the dog left. Use your eyes to look only where you step. Peripheral view will locate what needs to go in the plastic bag, inside out on your hand, all to avoid stepping in it. Plant closure, November 27, 2018. The corporation announces the imminent closure of the plant, where cars have been made for as long as most can remember, where once thousands installed the parts on the chassis and went for Western sandwiches at the local eatery. Times have changed. Most don't want and won't buy yesterday's cars. The union blusters and governments wring their hands in the face of the inevitable. Rudimentary Dinner, November 27, 2018. My wife out with a girlfriend, the dog and I work our way through a turkey pot pie with ketchup. Small morsels dropped into the bowl below quickly disappear. To be healthy, we share a raw carrot. I bite off pieces, and we both enjoy the percussive sound as they drop to the metal container, followed by the lusty chewing of the dog. Congestion on the D4, November 2018. Heading west on the D4 in our Renault Captur, we encounter a shepherd with a walking stick, followed by hundreds of sheep approaching on the narrow road. I stop the engine, and the flow around us is magical. The woolly sheep rubbing against the sides of the car, now oscillating side to side. Through the open window, I look at the animals, tightly packed as they proceed, exotic eyes close to horizontal ears, beneath a furry head covering, like an English barrister. I want to pat them, but don't. My wife taking video on her phone, and then, like a Disney production, a tiny black lamb is last, just in front of two shepherd dogs, confidently and professionally keeping the flock moving ahead and into our past. The Lodge, January 21st, 2019. We are a mixed bunch at the 70th anniversary, $15 including chicken dinner and live band. There are the members, aging but still fun-loving, despite an absence of education and years on the factory floor, The women, many life-weary and wise, some with hairstyles from earlier decades. The men may have bumper waists and mullets, or cowboy hats and George Bush faces, and all are just a little wary of the interlopers of a similar age, the dancers, who come with fancy cars and bags for dancing shoes. Their clothes just a little too upmarket for the setting. The band plays a mix of country and rock and roll with a sound that wouldn't be out of place in Summerside or St. John's. The floor crowded as the two groups dance in their respective ways, of those with money and those without. But goodwill prevails, and we walk to our car and are bid good night by two men outside for a smoke break. Oath of Citizenship, January 28, 2019. 123 new Canadians, 28 countries of origin, names destined for mispronunciation. No matter, they have made it, as families, as couples and singles, through difficult and sometimes dangerous journeys, to stand proudly before the citizenship judge, shake his hand, and accept the document proclaiming their new status. It is a moving ceremony, even to the spectators on the sides, repeating aloud the oath of allegiance to faithfully observe the laws of Canada and fulfill their duties as Canadian citizens. All sing the national anthem, normally the preserve of hockey games, but here affirming a special meaning for the true North, strong and free. After shopping, February 1st, 2019. We return to the parking lot. She has called for us to pick her up. The dog and I see her coming through the sliding doors, the cart rolling in front. I wave. She shows an immediate smile, a very big, authentic smile. The dog and I both excited to see her and hear all about her purchases, dresses, etc. Prices much reduced, expertly examined for size and style, and deliberated before buying over an interval not understood by men. She had continued to the grocery store for bananas, salami, etc., now in the cart, approaching as the dog's tail wags 5 beats a second. France 101, March 10, 2019. Repeat after me. Johnny Hallyday, Serge Gainsbourg, Michel Fugain, Tartine Beurrée, and Absolument. Bernard Pivot, Les Flics, Un bière à pression, Jane Birkin, Le TGV, Vachement bon, Île-de-France, Croque Madame et Monsieur, Boulevard Saint-Germain, Prendre un verre, Place de la Contrescarpe, et ma blonde. Cité universitaire, les grands magasins, Côte d'Azur, Mégane et la rentrée. For homework, sample and describe Ricard. Next class, Wednesday. Names, March 21st, 2019. No one is Helen anymore, nor George, Howard, nor Frank, let alone Hazel, Judy, and Gladys, even Wayne. Instead, we have Connor, Kyle, and Aidan, or Brooklyn, Madison, and Avery, names applying to elite schools and jobs in finance. Once trendy Jason now sports a tattoo, and Corey and Kimberly well into their second marriages. What are parents to do? Perhaps inspiration from automakers and opt for 240Z or IS350. America, March 24th, 2019. Made great by the Smithsonian, the Big Mac, your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking, Frontline, rental car returns at National, New Yorker cartoons, the Supreme Court, The Big Lebowski, Little Stevie Wonder, and Here's Johnny. The 747, the Martini Cocktail, Microsoft Windows, and My Cousin Vinny, Caltech, MIT, Google, and Tesla. But wait, there's more, we hope. Bad Back, April 9th, 2019. Who among us has not experienced the great equalizer, that immediate dose of humility, the bad back? Reaching down to tie a shoe, to pick up the dog, there it is, instantly. The shooting pain, perhaps a spasm, the collapse of strength, a need to lie down, or stand erect, or hang from the doorframe, whatever works, however short-lived. And then the reflection, focusing on the regrets, having moved that box, shifting furniture, or crouched far too long, Mr. Handyman, fixing the wall plug. Please, please, let it pass. Boeing, April 13, 2019. Suppose 450 737 MAX were constructed, each at $120 million, totaling 54 times 10 to the 9 dollars. Discuss, citing examples, management alternatives for reorganization, divestment, and merger. Include potential suitors. Assess also impact on public confidence and the path forward. All work to be submitted no later than August 11. Populism, April 15, 2019. When the leader talks nonsense and those behind him nod their heads in a mindless, bobbing action, like helmeted spring toys, and when a question is asked not from the approved list, and the paid supporters of the leader clap their hands, while the handler thanks everyone for coming, the leader smiling is led off the stage. We know then, surely, there is room for improvement. Productive, April 23rd, 2019. The house next door is transforming into a marvel of wants. 9-foot ceilings, open plan first floor, etc., etc. I watch the progress with both envy and sadness. The former is obvious, the latter, not so much. I see the workers, diligent and skilled, systematically carrying out the project. I feel I should be doing something. Instead, retired, I walk the dog and read as complacency settles in. Table for 9, May 5th, 2019. We sit in the corner at a round table, the chairs heavy, designed to survive Armageddon. 9 of them in the tight space. The server, harried and overworked, multiple bruises on her neck, brings plates of chicken, breaded, and sides of rice and beans. Around us is celebration, without pretension, the helium balloons, colorful clothes, and good wishes for the occasion not communicated to the wider audience. No matter, the DJ plays cha-cha, bachata, merengue, etc., as the dancers wade through a labyrinth of chairs and tables, and then cover their repertoire in the small space, avoiding, for the most part, stepping on others. Compromises are expected for dinner and dancing at this price point. Otello, May 19, 2019. Opens with a storm. Music evokes flashes, thunder, and wind. Verdi, even today, surprisingly fresh. Iago, the evil schemer. Otello, seemingly the dumb warrior. And Desdemona, innocent victim. All three sing us through the tale. A train wreck, avoidable, if only, but as in real life, after the fact. And the conductor deftly guides us musically to a sad but inevitable destination. Movie opening, July 4th, 2019. A man takes in the sun, a London suburb, Heathrow planes overhead, orderly spaced in time and place. The solstice sun, warm on closed eyelids, suddenly interrupted by sounds. A thud, not a bang, and another like a bounce. A second man lies, immobile, on the grass close by, his body frozen in movement and temperature. Alas, a person unsatisfied with the status quo on a life-ending misadventure. Flashback to a small city in Central Africa where it all began. Cashier Number 8, July 14, 2019. Cashier Number 7, the woman's voice over the store, businesslike but still sultry, directs us to our checkout, past the 400-gram chocolate bars, chips from Spain, potatoes, olive oil, and salt. Eat them and feel good. The cashier, maybe 25, tattoos all over her young arms, written text with a message, undoubtedly meaningful at the time. I wonder about her future, and the message already forgotten while the median persists. How the World Has Changed, July 16, 2019. On the respected TV network, an interview with a rising star of the small screen. The interviewer opined to the interviewee, "You were sort of kicking ass a little bit." Perched on elevated chairs, the former facing the latter, above their dueling high heels, assertive and impractical, both very capable in their fields. As I note, we have moved into a new world. Bonavista, August 26, 2019. The freshness of the air cleanses and exhilarates, while below, against the massive structure of stratified and tilted rock, surges the sea as if in slow motion, relentless and powerful, while the birds, puffins likely, perch and then in frantic flutter rise and drop and rise again to come to another landing, selected for reasons known only to the species, following a genetic guide likely to improve survival. I breathe in again and know that this is a good place, this Newfoundland. Cement truck driver, September 23rd, 2019. Sitting in the outdoor area at a Starbucks, my wife sits a tall cappuccino while I, on principle, abstain, not buying expensive coffee, if I must stand in line, twice. I watch as a cement truck, enormous and reverential, stops in the no parking zone. The driver descends his elevated seat, crossing the lane, and disappears inside. Will he opt for the cafe latte grande or an espresso macchiato tall? In due course, he appears, an iced coffee, possibly a grande, in hand. The truck awaits, its rotating chamber at rest, while he readies the cigarette and climbs back into the cab. The Inexplicable, November 27, 2019. World leaders embarked on paths not developed, nor understood or explained. Brexit 3 years on, still impractical and unimplemented, and likely not wanted. A US president disdainful of knowledge, of integrity, of common sense. His supporters undeterred. A Chinese president asks for and gets status for life. In each case, why, how, and net benefit inexplicably unanswered. January 9, 2020. Forget April. It's January, the cruelest month. The holiday's over, the decorations, the tree stand, in covered bins under the stairs. The weather alternately icy and damp, and then wet and damp. The daylight curve struggling to climb from the solstice. Friends and family out of circulation due to the flu. Retired, we read, watch movies, and wonder if we can get away in February, a much better month. Virus distancing, April 23rd, 2020. 6 weeks in, we maintain our distance. The virus has spoken. No visits with family or friends. Routine appointments, all cancelled or deferred. We order groceries online for pickup 2 weeks hence. Retired and thus unburdened of work lost, at least not directly. Our days blend, one into the other. Video calls, tasks around the house, food preparation, backgammon, reading, dance step review, and physics lectures from Stanford. Then, of course, our phones, bringing en masse isolation jokes and videos, some clever, even to those not enrolled in the big three of social media. We stare at the statistics, daily new cases, new deaths by country, hoping for that Gaussian downslope, so elusive, but crucial to signal better days ahead. COVID-19, July 17, 2020. Now 4 months in, social distancing ongoing, friends met by a video or at a 2-meter distance, families stay away, no restaurant eating, no theaters, no operas, nor dinner get-togethers. Daily cases tallied and trended by country, by region. Some places present denial and then face consequences. Nursing home residents on the front lines. Millions lose jobs. We feel confined and cranky. We wash our hands and wear face masks against the enemy, the microscopic and indiscriminate, the virus that soldiers on. Pack, August 2nd, 2020. Sometimes, on completion, we need to pack up our things, possibly in a backpack. Other times we just admit failure and pack it in. Unless, of course, you are a leader of the pack, the kind that can pack a punch, in which case you're likely to send others packing. Corporate types can leave jobs with a package. Others, too many these days, are said to be packing, dangerous for the rest of us. Fortunately, the 2-pack-a-day man is nearly extinct. I'll excuse myself. I have to retrieve my package, just delivered to the front step. Of course, I don't mean my package. I mean something ordered in good faith online. Not a wolf pack or a pack of lies, but say a battery pack or a pack of drill bits. You get the picture. Or package. Mouse story, September 21st, 2020. The evidence incontrovertible. On the counter, the quarter miche bread exhibiting open cavities, neatly carved out by the offender. The Lindt chocolate bar, so important during the COVID era, with tiny teeth marks on the exposed edge. A call to arms. The 21st century trap, elegant and antiseptic, and found to be useless. Return to basics. A finger-risking spring and loaded with almond, first time thwarted by the cunning of the breed. Reloaded for round 2. Snap! I return to the site. Reluctantly and fleetingly, I see it lifeless. As I dispose of it all, trap included, and feel badly.